drink milk, like, if we wanted to, like, there's milk.
Yeah.
And then, like, I get hungry if I don't drink milk, so I'll always drink milk. But today I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And then my stomach went growl, and then I have no idea why I was so hungry.
So my stomach was growling, right?
Yeah.
I didn't, right. Okay. Is it dairy milk or is it soy milk?
Dairy milk.
Oh, excellent. So what else has been going on?
In the lunch line,
Mm-hmm.
something, like, really frustrating happened.
What happened?
Well, you know, some popular girls in my class,
Mm-hmm.
like, they were, like, in front of me and behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, like, from the, you know, we are classroom 2. From classroom 1, people started, like, their friends started coming and talking really loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like, way more frustrating.
I can understand that. Yeah.
One more thing, the line was very, very long, so, like, I had to hear that, like, about 5 minutes.
Oh, that's frustrating when everything's really noisy and you're stuck. Mm-hmm. I don't like crowds. I don't like to go to parades because I can't stand the noise and the crowds. And that's why I love teaching at English Aloud, because in Toronto we have very busy streetcars and subways and everybody gets packed in together. And I used to hate taking the streetcar and being packed. And now I don't have to do that for work. I don't have to be packed in with lots of loud people. Just a reminder, we are being recorded, so just remember not to confess any murders on camera.
What do you mean, any murders on camera?
If you've committed any murders, don't confess it on camera because we are recording this call. Okay. We have a couple minutes of free talking, but I want to look at our notes because it was on my other account. The things we're going to do today. We have the homework page that you did on 190 for, Q listening skills?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, and I also wanted to assign you a new homework from that book, from Q listening skills, before we move into Smart TOEFL. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is we're going to do Smart TOEFL, and remember yesterday we read it, and I showed you the bubble method. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to be really breaking it down and getting to understand the structure of the essay. Mm-hmm. And then if we have time, we'll do the quiz on Q listening practice. And then you'll be finished the Q listening skills officially, right? So that might happen today, but if not, it'll happen tomorrow. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure I had all my notes. But keep free talking with me for another minute while I open up your book. Because I forgot we were starting with Q listening skills.
This morning, it rained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It rained while I was going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, at school we had this special event we need to do outside.
Oh, no. And it was raining the whole time?
Everyone was running with umbrellas.
Oh, I hate being outside when it rains. Except for if it's summer and it rains, then I love it.
Oh.
Okay. Here's the book. Puddle splashes. So we did page 190. Let me open up the page. Okay, so can you read to me what you wrote?
Number 4. I am so afraid of public speaking.
Right. Are you really afraid of public speaking?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you've told me this before. Number 5?
I am so worried about this presentation.
Right, and I just want to remember the part of this homework was not just writing sentences, but it was using the words so and such, right?
I am so worried about this presentation.
Yeah. So you're using so very correctly here. Okay, number 6?
It was such a long flight for me.
Excellent. Number 7?
The instrument was so loud I could barely sleep.
Right.
It was such an important test.
Excellent. Okay, so normally I would make you write these on my board now, But I really want to get into assigning this other more established writing homework. So remember on page 193, we listened to Margot tell the story to her friend, and you completed the information on the chart about, I think it was an incident. Was it with a bear? Yeah, with a bear, not a raccoon. I was the one that had the incident with the raccoon. So, and then 194, you filled in the chart of your own event that happened, when and where it happened. Did it happen? So it was at the slumber party. Who was there? What happened? How did you feel? What did you do? How did the story end? You are going to take that information and you're going to make it into a story and you're going to write it. Okay. So I'm actually going to, for homework, I'm going to write this right now on your account, not on this account, so that you have the note for it. So you're just going to write it in your notebook, right? But as we do with all your homework with these writing assignments, first time, like you've now done the bullet point draft, you have the construction of your story, so you should be able to make that into sentences. Yeah. You're going to just make them into full sentences and try to make sure that it makes sense. You don't really need a thesis statement here. You're just getting right into the story, right? Yeah. Then next day's homework, you're going to put it on my board, and then we'll go over the grammar. But for tonight, you're just going to write it in your notebook. Homework. Write story based on your notes in chart on page, that's 194?
194.
In your notebook. Okay, so I have put that note in your account so you can read it tonight and you don't get lost. Okay. Now you're basically finished this book. We just have to finish the Q listening skill practice. But before we do, I really want to get into Smart TOEFL. So while I open that book, can you summarize what you remember from the reading yesterday?
The dinosaurs?
Yeah? Tell me what happened with the dinosaurs.
I remember about the dinosaur being extinct by a meteorite.
Right. And that was on page 12, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't just the meteorite. After the meteorite fell, a huge dust cloud formed and stopped the sunlight from reaching the Earth's surface. So plants died, and then herbivores died, and then the ones who eat the herbivores, who are carnivores, they died because they slowly died because their food was running out.
Right, very good. But who survived? Who was able to adapt and survive?
The mammals were luckily adapted and they survived, but some reason dinosaurs couldn't adapt to the harsh.
So luckily the mammals were able to adapt. So remember yesterday we did the reading and then I showed you we're going to do an exercise like this, which is... Bubble. But I call it bubbles. What did you call it? What do you prefer to call it?
Mind map.
Mind map. So a lot of people call it mind map. Some people call it word web. And the purpose of this is I want you to do this with every single assignment in the Smart TOEFL. And what that will really help you be able to do, it's going to really sharpen your academic skills for taking notes and remembering things for exams. But once you also keep understanding the pattern of an essay structure, then you're going to be able to recreate it very easily yourself, right? Okay, so we're going to look at the first paragraph, and the whole point of the mind map, being able to take this structure really quickly, is you're going to look at the first paragraph, and you're going to find a word that sums up the thesis for you and reminds you. It could be a word or a couple words, but you don't want it to be more than a couple words because you want to be able to do this very quickly. So what is the key point or the thesis of this reading based on the first paragraph?
Dinosaurs were extinct.
Right, but how did they become extinct?
The meteorite or the asteroid fell.
Right, so I'm going to put asteroid because it's shorter than meteoroid. Okay, so you're going to take your piece of paper, your notepad. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to know that this is the thesis statement because it's at top. So you're going to put asteroid, and you could put even asteroid and dinosaurs. Right? It doesn't have to have complete information. It just has to have the information that's going to trigger your memory. When you see asteroid and dinosaurs, you're going to remember the asteroid killed the dinosaurs, right? So that's your first bubble. Okay, so now we're going to go into the first paragraph. So what is the key point? And remember, we have key points and details.
Yeah.
So what is the key point of paragraph 2?
How dinosaurs got extinct.
Yeah, but what specifically caused them to go extinct? We know already it's the asteroid. But what was the thing that really caused? We're looking at the second paragraph, though. Scan the second paragraph for an important keyword.
Temperatures.
No, that would be a detail.
Oh.
So read the first 3 sentences out loud.
When the object hit the Earth, it was traveling very fast. So it struck the planet with a great amount of force. This caused large amounts of dust to go into the air.
So do you remember that dust was really important in this paragraph?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so your key point for paragraph 2 is dust. You're going to put right? So you got the dust. And now this one is a process, right? It is a process paragraph. So it's going to tell you how the dust affected. So the details that are going to come below, you're going to make arrows to show that it's a process, right? So like step 1, step 2, step 3, right? So you're going to do arrows like this. When you see those arrows, you now know that this paragraph is talking about a process, right? So the dust goes up in the air. So that's number 1, right? Mm-hmm. What did that cause?
The temperatures to drop.
Before the temperatures dropped, you're missing a step. So this created an enormous dust cloud that covered the entire planet. So that would be our first point. What's the sentence after that?
It blocked the sunlight from reaching the Earth's surface.
So your next bubble is going to be blocked sunlight, right? So you could even put dust cloud for the first point, but dust is fine as long as it will help you remember dust cloud, right? Mm-hmm. So first one, you're going to have dust cloud. Second one, you're having blocked sunlight. So what was the result then?
Then the temperatures dropped.
Right. Temperatures drop. Okay? Mm-hmm. So now you have the whole structure of the first paragraph. So you can remember very easily when you look at your mind map or your bubbles, this reading is about how asteroids made the dinosaurs go extinct. First, the asteroid hit the Earth and there was a big dust cloud, which blocked sunlight, and then the temperatures fell. Okay? So now for the second paragraph, you're going to make another bubble like this underneath. Right? So we're going to be going from left to right, okay? And what would be the main point of this paragraph? Reread the paragraph first, because it was like with your eyes, just scan it, and then we'll discuss it, okay? So what is the key point of this paragraph? What are we talking about here? If you were going to make this a very general comment, not a specific comment, what would you say it's talking about?
I think it's talking about food and dinosaurs.
Right? But it's how the dinosaurs died out, right? So the key point is how they died out, right? So, you want to put, and it doesn't say in the paragraph, this paragraph is talking about how the dinosaurs died out, but it mentions 3 reasons. So now you know it's how the dinosaurs died. So that would be the key point of this paragraph. And it mentions 3 reasons. So underneath it, you're going to make 3 bubbles. Right, like this. 3 reasons. Okay, so what was the first way the dinosaurs died?
In the first sentence, they died because, of the colder temperatures.
Right, so cold temperatures. So a lot of them died right away because of cold temperatures. So you're going to put cold temperatures in the bubble there, right? Okay. And then what was the other reason? What was the second reason they died?
No food.
Right? But let's get really specific.
No plant.
Right. So
herbivores.
Right. So no vegetation, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And then what was the final reason?
The carnivore died because there was no meat.
Right. So then you could put even no meat. Or you could
Uh-huh.
put carnivores died. It does, your bubble notes will be different than my bubble notes. It's what will trigger your memory so that when you look at this, you'll see, for me, I see no vegetation. That's going to spark my memory. For you, you might write herbivores died, but that will spark your memory that it was because the vegetation died out, right? Okay. So then we're getting into the last paragraph. It's not a summary.
Mhm.
It's kind of like what happened after the dinosaurs died, right? But there has two key points in this concluding paragraph. So read it over and tell me what you think those 2 points are. So if you had to tell me 2 things you learned from this paragraph, what would they be?
That they didn't all happen at once.
Right. It took a long time, right? So your first thing would be long time. Or you could put several decades, or you could put centuries, whatever helps trigger your memory. So long time would be one of the points. What was the other key point that you learned?
Not all of them. Like, not all died.
So, but what was it specifically that survived?
The mammals survived.
Right. So you could put mammals as the other key point. And so this will just help trigger your memory. So now what I want you to do after you're done your bubbles is I'm going to model this for you for the first time, but as we go through the book, like this time I really helped you along, but as you go through the book and we're doing the reading, I want you to be making these kind of notes so that when we're done the reading, you could summarize it for me based on your notes. So I'm going to do it first and then you're going to do it. So the reading is about how asteroid or meteorite led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. So first of all, the asteroid or meteorite hit the Earth, which created a huge dust cloud, and that blocked the sunlight, and so that made the temperatures drop. So the dinosaurs died in various ways. Some died right away from the cold temperatures. They just couldn't handle the cold. And then because it was cold, vegetation died out, so the herbivores starved. And after the herbivores starved, that meant the meat eaters didn't have the herbivores to eat, so the carnivores died out too. And this process took a long time, maybe several decades or centuries, but for some reason, oh wait, I'm going the wrong way. But for some reason, the mammals were able to adapt and survive, although the dinosaurs, we don't understand why they didn't adapt. So now I want you to look at your notes and do the exact same thing for me.
Asteroids made the dinosaurs go extinct.
Right.
But the asteroid hit the Earth and a huge dust cloud formed. And the dust cloud blocked the sunlight, and suddenly the temperature dropped. And some of them died right away by the cold temperature. But, well, the vegetations died because there was no plant to eat.
Right.
And, like,
take your time.
The vegetation died, so there was no meat for the carnivores to eat.
Okay, so make sure you're not confusing herbivores and vegetation. So the vegetation died out, the herbivores starved, the carnivores did not have, because the herbivores died out, the carnivores didn't have meat to eat. Okay, and then the last paragraph?
This didn't happen at once. It took a long time, maybe decades. Right. But mammals could adapt to the habitat.
Right.
And the mammals survived.
So if you were to write now, this as like a summary, you have the whole essay structure here. You could easily recreate it, right? And this is a great method for exams, but especially for the TOEFL. So we only have a few minutes left. I want to get to page 13 and try some of these mini test questions. So you read the first question for me because my page closed and we only have a couple minutes.
The word catastrophe in the passage is closest in meaning to A. Event, B. Trauma, C. Disaster, D. Consideration.
So which one is it?
C. Disaster.
Okay, because we have little time, just read the question and the answer, not the choices. Okay? For number 2.
The author discusses dust in paragraph 2 in order to explain why the planet's temperature dropped.
Right. Okay, number 3.
In paragraph 3, the author's description of how the dinosaurs died mentions all of the following except mammals hunted and killed them.
Right. So we don't know if that's true or not, but it was not mentioned in the paragraph. Number 4.
The word they in the passage refers to mammals.
Right.
According to paragraph 4, why did mammals survive? They were able to adapt to the changes.
Right. So you notice by just taking these notes, now you don't have to flip back and forth between the reading and try to scan for the information because you have it all here. And it makes you really remember it well, too. So we didn't get a chance to finish the Q listening practice quiz. So tomorrow we're going to start with that. But bring your Smart TOEFL, too, and don't forget your homework. Okay, so tomorrow, free talking, homework, Q listening skills practice, and then if we have time, we'll get into the next lesson for Smart TOEFL. Okay. Sounds good. What are you going to do now?
Do my homework.
My homework? A homework for me or homework for school?
Your homework.
Oh, great. So make sure this one is just in your notebook, and then tomorrow it will be on my board. Don't put it on my board tonight. Okay?
Okay.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.